Now that we have power back, welcome back to some more Stormworks. I'm StormRunner Gaming, and today I would like to quickly apologize before we get going here. It's been a couple of weeks since I got my latest video out, but with our little character, hey, Storm's character. Over here? No, to your left. No, stop turning. You know what, we can just cheat the system, press P here to pause the character, and we can see the glory of the full Hemtt Truck Lineup behind him, which is what I'm going to be showing off today. And there is so many models in this full lineup here, it's not going to fit in one video. So I'm going to have a little, mini series of a couple different models here. I'm not going to be showing off, the ones that are pretty similar, like the base model, and others that kind of don't have anything different to them. We're going to throw a couple of the ones with some pretty cool mechanics on them into their own episodes here. But we're going to go down the line right now, and maybe by the end of this video we'll jump into the base model or something to see what it can really do. Our first model here is the mesh top. It's in a dark forest green here, so it's got some pretty good camouflage there. Just like all the other trucks, of course, it has that 8-wheel drive, 8-wheel steering, and it boasts that huge amount of room in the back for carrying around soldiers, people, supplies, whatever you need. And of course it has that large top to keep stuff out of the weather. Moving right along, there's nothing really special about this guy. He's kind of like the Jerry of the group here. He's, pretty short, not very handsome, but he's the base model of the Hemtt lineup here. You can slap whatever you want, really, on the back end there. And this is the one I built everything else off of. So, yeah, he's kind of the father of the group here. Moving right along, we have the Cargo 2, the Hemtt Cargo 2. And it's called the Cargo 2 because it's able to carry those cargo crates around. This is actually the first truck I've ever designed that's able to carry those crates around. And I'm not really sure why I didn't build a vehicle for that in the past, but now I have a full lineup that has the grit to be able to pull them around the map. This one boasts a pretty cool system that is automatically able to load and or unload those cargo crates from the back end of this truck here. Alright, moving right along, we have the pretty stock standard box truck. I don't think this one's going to get its own custom episode here like the others, but yet again, just like the mesh top, it's got plenty of room in the back for whatever you need to throw in there. And, it's got this little wobbly ladder on the back end, which... hold on, if we unpause, will it do anything? It doesn't seem to be doing anything. You guys can actually tell the type of frame rate I'm getting here with all of these trucks lined up here. It's pretty apparent by the smoke. Moving right along, I'm going to pause it again so the frame rate doesn't suffer. This is actually my favorite design in the full lineup. This is a decommissioned Hemtt truck taken over by the SRG Fire Department. And as you can tell off of the base model, we took a huge, like 35,000 liter tank and threw it on the back end here. There was actually a even larger tank when I first designed this vehicle, but if you think about 30,000 plus liters of water anywhere, it's going to be pretty heavy, so I had to cut that down pretty quickly, as well as weight. When you think about the distribution of weight on this vehicle, if you have tons of water on the back end, that is not very good. And if we can cut down on water more and more, that definitely helps with the handling of that vehicle. And since it is such a huge vehicle, it doesn't have great handling. Besides the regular facts and features of the Hemtt lineup right here, this truck also does come equipped with ladders, pumps, and a couple water cannons to be able to put out forest fire, car fires, building fires maybe. And it's also able to dispense and take in water when needed, so it can actually fill up other trucks as well as get filled up from the station. Moving right along in this lineup here, we have Cargo 1. My Hemtt Cargo 1 was actually the first model I made that was able to carry around some cargo pieces. And it's got kind of a funky system on the back end here that is able to pull in some cargo crates and haul them around the islands. but I'm not going to be showing that off today, so stay tuned for that. But it's definitely got a pretty weird and wacky system up its sleeve, able to carry around those heavy cargo crates. And then this guy, I believe, is the stock standard flatbed trailer here. It's not a trailer, excuse me, the flatbed bed on the back. Well, I don't know why I said bed twice, but it has just a really simple bed on the back end, able to be loaded up with any supplies, any people, any vehicles, whatever you really need can go back there. And it has a huge cargo capacity load here, as well as a good amount of weight it can haul. I was testing around with the vehicle, and it could haul at least upwards of 10 tons on the back end of this truck, which is real life. That's pretty insane. I mean, it's not going to be a champ getting up hills, but, you know, it can get it down the highway. Moving right along, we have the tow bed here on the back end of this Hemtt truck here. And this actually is able to slide out and pivot down to be able to pick up, you know, any disabled vehicles or carry along another vehicle in a convoy. So if you ever need to transport any broken vehicles or anything around the islands, this is a pretty good, strong contender to do that. And then the next one in this lineup was kind of an afterthought, I'll have to be honest with you guys. It is my Hemtt crane truck, which I don't know if it really exists in real life. I've seen a ton of different variants of all of these guys in real life, from the cargo carriers to the mesh top, flat top, to even the tow truck, as well as the fire truck. I saw pictures online, but I never really came across anything like my crane truck here. And this one was actually just designed to give me a very strong crane truck, because I never really had a good crane truck in Stormworks. And, you know, something with 8-wheel drive, a very strong diesel engine, and a pretty good base would make a good crane truck here. So, and then last but not least, on the end here, we have that something like 5th wheel trailer. It's got 8 wheels in the back end, so it has a huge capacity for weight, and not only can it carry around tons of cargo, it also can carry around another Hemtt truck on the back end of this thing. Believe it or not, that back end there has enough room to carry a full Hemtt truck, and, you know, if your convoy needs another smaller truck, it can come up here as well. Of course, if you need anything lifted up, that crane truck is available. I talked about showing off at least one of these models today to show you guys, you know, the basic features of my Hemtt trucks. So I have the base model out here. It's just like all the others, the flatbed, the box bed, the mesh top. All of them have the similar features, so none of them are really going to get their own special episodes. But moving right along, let's talk about just some of the generic features of this truck here. First and foremost, power. This thing comes with a huge diesel engine nestled between the front 2 wheels here, and for some reason the temperature is rising already. Maybe it's the temperature outside, but not only does it come with a large diesel engine, it also has another small one that is generating some power. So no matter where you are, what weather conditions you are in, that battery is always going to stay charged as long as you have some fuel in the tanks. Speaking of fuel, this truck actually comes equipped with about 3,000 liters of fuel. Not only can you use that to fuel yourself and that electric engine, but if you need to rescue someone else, you can use some fluid to those anchors to refuel and recharge another vehicle stuck out in the wilderness. And of course, I've added in all of the equipment you need for that as well. Speaking of equipment, this does come equipped with a full locker of equipment for whatever you'll need out in your adventures. And since it is kind of a tall off-roading truck, I gave it a nice ladder so you're able to get up here and access all of the equipment you will ever need. Alright, jumping back down, let's close that guy up with a 1 and a 2. There's nothing much else very elegant about this vehicle. It's got tons of cooling, tons of power, and it's got some winches, some rope anchor points on the backside. I think the next part we're going to jump into really is the cab in here. And there's a couple cool features I want to show off with this guy here. Now, of course, we have that key button down there, starting up our huge diesel engine. And the coolest part about this, it is a 9-speed automatic or 8-speed automatic. I think it's 9. Hold on, I can check. You can also throw it into manual, so if we keep just pressing 5 there, yeah, it's a 9-speed automatic. You can throw into manual if you need to, but it does have my new automatic WASD mode, so you know, if you hold W, it'll go forwards, hit S, it'll hit the brakes until you come to a full stop, and then it'll reverse, you know, easy quality of life thing that makes the vehicle a lot easier to drive, actually. So, sitting in front of the driver here, we have the RPMs on the left, your speed in mile per hour on the right, and the rest of the indicators really are on this screen in front of you. We have the gas gauge, battery gauge, and temperature gauge on there, as well as it'll tell you what gear you're in, drive, neutral, or reverse. Alright, slamming on the brakes there. Brakes? Okay, there it is. We're going to talk just a little bit about the stuff to my right here. We've got, of course, the gear indicator, I guess you'd call it, as well as an odometer. Moving right along, we have backlights for all of the things over here, as well as a heater for the winter areas of the map. We also do have an electric engine assist, although I definitely would not keep that on because it drains the batteries a little bit faster than what the small engine can keep up with. So that's really if you need to get up a steep hill or you need just a little bit more power in some situations. We also do have a low gear, which drops you back to that first gear, and as you can tell, we're crawling pretty slowly here. Of course, in that automatic, it gets you up to 4th gear pretty quickly, but that low gear keeps you in a very low gear for some pretty good climbing over mountains and other areas as well. Also, it does have rear wheel steering, so you can get that 8-wheel steering on this vehicle here for some pretty tight turns. Considering it is around like a 20-meter long truck, it has a pretty good turning radius, in part due to that 8-wheel steering here. A couple more features. I did throw in my cruise control, although it's not great with heavy loads, so I would just caution about probably not using it when you have a full load there. But it also tells you when it's on and what you have it set to. Of course, you do have a clock. And last but not least, you also have a little map here if you ever need some, you know, just kind of map awareness, I guess, while you're in the truck, or some GPS guidance in here, although there isn't really any GPS guidance with this map here. And you've also got a passenger seat and a ton of extra room in the back. So that is the Hemtt truck here, and as it's going down the road, it's a pretty good truck in my eyes. I'm pretty happy with what it came out to be. It's definitely incorporated a lot of the logic I love to mess around with in Stormworks, and I've added a few more, you know, different and cool pieces to it that I've never put in any other vehicles as well. I've also got some tips from friends to make it an even better vehicle. So you guys should look out for the Hemtt lineup of videos coming to my channel pretty soon. But that is where I will be ending this episode. So of course, if you guys did like this, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up with Stormworks and more of my content. But I've been great. Goodbye. Say people need me, and I need to go.